Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Friday, November 4th, and this is the NBA DFS video for today. So in today's video, we'll be going over a recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, talking about all the injuries in play for today's slate as a 12-game main slate overall. So going to be a lot to talk about today overall, and then going over to both DraftKings and FanDuel and talking about my core picks for today. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. On the DraftKings side, at point guard, we had Jamal Murray, $5,600, looking for 28 points out. He got to 35 points yesterday, so he was a very good hit. Then at shooting guard, we had Klay Thompson at $5,500, looking for 28 fantasy points out. Got to 42, so he was a really good hit yesterday and starting to come alive as of late. Then at small forward, we had Franz Wagner, who was $6,700, looking for 34 fantasy points out. Got to 24.25. So he ended up being a mess yesterday, mainly just scored the ball, not too much otherwise, but was pretty efficient in scoring the ball at least. And then we moved down to power forward with Povashevsky, who was $4,600, looking for about 23 fantasy points out. Got to 22.25, so I did end up giving him a push yesterday. Pretty much in line with what we needed out of him yesterday. Really can't complain too much there. And then last but not least, we had Nikola Jokic at $11,400, looking for 57 fantasy points out. Got to 53.75, so a pretty strong performance altogether. He had a triple-double, but did end up being a mess. He had 10 turnovers in this game, so actually, if you count the turnovers, he had a quadruple-double, but they don't count that for basketball that way, unfortunately. Just kind of unfortunate game there, but still a decent play altogether and a pretty decent day overall on DraftKings. If you had some other good plays to go along with these core fives, you had a decent chance of cashing yesterday. Then on the FanDuel side, we had Jamal Murray once again, $5,600. He was on both sites, 28 fantasy points, so we're looking for out him. Got to 32.8 on the FanDuel side, so he was a hit once again as well. Then shooting guard, we still had Klay Thompson at $5,200. Looking for 26 fantasy points out, got to 39.3, so he was a really good hit once again. And then we had Franz Wagner at small forward. He is $6,800. We're looking for 34 fantasy points. I'm only got 21.6. Mainly scored the ball yesterday, so he ended up being a miss. Then at power forward, we had Draymond Green, $5,700. Looking for about 28 fantasy points out and got to 27.5, so I did give him a push yesterday. And then last but not least, at center, once again, we had Nikola Jokic, $11,500. Looking for about 57 fantasy points out and got to 44.6, so he was a miss, although he did get that triple-double. But those 10 turnovers really kill you on DraftKings overall, since that's minus 10 points. But with that being said, if you had some other decent plays on the FanDuel side, still had a pretty reasonable chance of cashing yesterday as well. Myself, I ran into Jalen Suggs and Bruce Brown and Chuma Okeke on yesterday's slate, so it was a very good day overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over into the injuries and play for tonight's slate. Once again, there is a ton of games tonight, and we're starting off right at 7 o'clock Eastern time. We got the Cavaliers first off with Ricky Rubio and Dylan Windler both out. Raul Neto, Donovan Mitchell, and Darius Garland are all listed as questionable, so we'll see who ends up playing out of those three guys. Could open up some value overall. Then for the Detroit Pistons, we got Marvin Bagley and Alex Burks out once again. Jalen Duran is expected back tonight. He's probable at this point in time after dealing with his ankle injury. Could cut down on some minutes for Isaiah Stewart overall, but not anything too relevant for tonight's slate overall. Then we move over to the Miami Heat, who were out Victor Oladipo, Omar Yurtseven once again. Nikola Jovic is out, and then Jimmy Butler is out once again. So Max Strus did start in his place last time out. Max Strus, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry. They're going to look pretty good tonight. Bam Adebayo is also questionable. He's got a bruise on his knee, a knee contusion, so not too worried about him. Do expect him to play tonight. Then on the Pacers side, Daniel Tice is out once again. Aaron Nesmith listed as questionable. I do believe he missed the last time out, though. For the New York Knicks, they're all the way healthy at this point in time after Quentin Grimes returned last time out. Philadelphia 76ers are without James Harden, who is expected out for about a month. Joel Embiid still questionable, dealing with some illness there. And then Matisse Thybulle is questionable as well after starting the past game. Looks like DeAnthony Melton should be back tonight. Could be some pretty good value on this 76ers team overall. And then we move down to the Brooklyn Nets, who are without TJ Warren, Ben Simmons, and now Kyrie Irving is out. He is serving a 5-game suspension overall. Seth Curry is questionable to play. If he plays, he could be a little bit of value. If he doesn't play, we're looking at like Patty Mills and Edwin Sumner at that point guard position. So maybe there's a little bit of value over there if you're trying to get there on either FanDuel or DraftKings. But going to be a cheaper, reasonable play and just kind of hoping they pay off overall. For the Washington Wizards, DeLon Wright's out once again, so no real major changes there. They do get Corey Kispert back tonight. We'll see if he plays or how much he actually ends up playing in this game. Then we get over to the Chicago Bulls, who are without Lonzo Ball and Andre Drummond once again. Kobe White is doubtful to play tonight, which is kind of a step in the wrong direction for him since he's been questionable the past couple games. For the Boston Celtics, they were without Robert Williams and Danilo Gallinari once again, so no changes there. For the Clippers, they are without Kawhi Leonard and Robert Covington, so the exact same as they were last time out. The Spurs are without Wesley once again, and then Zach Collins, Romeo Langford, and Isaiah Roby. All this is questionable. I believe Roby did miss the last time out. Langford, I believe, ended up starting the last game and now is injured, so we'll see how that all shakes out. Probably not too big an impact for DFS overall, though. Then we move over to the Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball's out once again. Gordon Hayward joins him now. So open up some potential value on this team overall. Jalen McDaniels probably starting that small forward spot. Maybe they throw somebody else in there. Cody Martin probably would get the start if he wasn't hurt as well. Him and Terry Rozier both doubtful once again. Some potential value there for the Charlotte Hornets. Their price tags are starting to creep up, though. Maybe Kelly Oubre, Jalen McDaniels, PJ Washington if you're really looking to go there. Dennis Smith's just getting a little bit too expensive for my taste overall. For the Memphis Grizzlies, they just have Danny Green, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zaire Williams all out once again. They pretty much have everybody else back, so they're about as healthy as they're going to get for some time. So no real value there at this point in time. Not too much else that we're watching as well. Golden State Warriors without Dante DiVincenzo and Andre Iguodala once again. No changes there. We'll have to see if any of these guys end up resting on the back-to-back, obviously, since they did play last night in a pretty back-and-forth game against the Orlando Magic. Then for the New Orleans Pelicans, Kira Lewis and EJ Liddell are both out once again. Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones, both listed as game-time decisions, but expected to play tonight, so they are making their return. Brandon Ingram's been out for a couple games now. Herb Jones as well. So kind of killing off some of that value that could be there for the Pelicans unless they get ruled out once again tonight. Then for the Toronto Raptors, Fred VanVleet's questionable. Once again, he's missed, I believe, the past 2 games with his back injury. Not anybody that I really want to play, but if he ends up missing, there could be a little bit of value there as well. Then for the Mavericks side, Davis Bertans and Frank Ntilikina are out once again, so no real changes there. Moving down to the Milwaukee Bucks, we got Pat Connaughton, AJ Green, Joe Ingles, Mamu, and Chris Middleton all out once again, so no real changes there. Giannis is listed as a game-time decision, but expected to play. We'll just have to keep an eye out on that one because he could open up some value and make Drew Holiday a pretty good play overall if he would end up missing. And Bobby Portis in that case too as well, since he would probably enter the starting lineup. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Luka Garza is inactive. He's going to the G League. And then we have Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards, both questionable to play tonight. I believe Anthony Edwards was dealing with an illness. I cannot remember what Rudy Gobert's status was for the questionable. Could be some value opening up there if either of those two do not end up playing tonight. For the Portland Trailblazers, they're without Olivier Sarr, Gary Payton, and Damian Lillard. Once again, Watford is doubtful to play. And then Anthony Simons is also listed as questionable tonight. If he doesn't end up playing tonight, Josh Hart, Jeremy Grant, and Joseph Nurkic are all going to look a little bit better. Justice Winslow probably slides into that starting lineup. Maybe it's Nazir Little, one of those two, I would assume, bumping Josh Hart up to that shooting guard position overall. Then for the Phoenix Suns, they're without Jay Crowder and Wainwright once again. Campaign listed as questionable to play. Torrey Craig and DeAndre Ayton are both listed as game-time decisions, but expected to play in this one, so they will get Ayton back most likely tonight. So not a ton of value overall for the Suns team. And then we move over to the Utah Jazz. Balmaro is out once again, and then Fontaine listed as a game-time decision. We'll see if he's around or not, but not really in the rotation either way. And then we move over to Lakers, who are without Thomas Bryant and Dennis Schroeder once again. Anthony Davis is listed as questionable, although he did end up playing the last time out. And then LeBron James listed as probable at this point in time. But that's just a quick little rundown on all the injuries in play for tonight's slate. There is obviously quite a bit of them, so values could change quite a bit throughout the day as well. But with that being said, we'll get moving over to DraftKings and talk about my core picks over there. So we're going to start off with the point guard position. We have Tyrese Maxey here at $6,500. We're looking for 33 fantasy points out. He's averaging over 36 so far in the season. There is no James Harden for the foreseeable future. Tyrese Maxey is going to be a very good play in that case. If Joel Embiid also misses tonight once again, then Maxey's going to be an even better play. Next matchup, not anything to be afraid of at this point in time. And, like I said, we're only looking for 33 fantasy points out. Currently, I'm projected for 35. As I mentioned, he's over 36 on the season, so definitely has a ton of upside as well. Then we move down to shooting guard and his teammate with the Anthony Melton, assuming that he's back tonight and assuming that he's in that starting lineup. He's $4,400. Looking for 22 fantasy points out. I'm averaging about 21 so far in the season. Currently, I'm projected for about 27, 28 tonight. And then since we're going with the Philadelphia 76ers, we're also going with Tobias Harris at $5,800. Only looking for 29 fantasy points out. He's averaging over 30 so far on the season. Currently, I'm projected for 32 tonight, but also has a ton of upside for more. And if Joel Embiid ends up missing tonight, he's going to look like a lot better play overall as well. Then we move down to the power forward position with Jalen McDaniels for the Charlotte Hornets, expecting him to start in place of Gordon Hayward tonight. He's $4,500. We're looking for about 23 fantasy points out of him, averaging 26 so far on the season. Currently having projected for 27 fantasy points tonight, but definitely has a little bit of upside for more as well. And then last but not least, we have Joseph Nurkic at that center position for the Portland Trailblazers. $7,300, looking for 36, 37 fantasy points out of him. He's averaging 38 so far in the season. In games where Damian Lillard does not play, he takes a major step up. And now you're talking about maybe no Anthony Simons tonight as well. Going to look like a very strong play overall, unless this game gets out of hand or he gets in foul trouble. Currently have him projected for 40 points tonight, so one of the better values at that center position overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here of $21,500 remaining, just under $7,200 per player. So definitely some room and some flexibility. If you want to pay up for a stud, you can definitely do that tonight. If you want to pay up for 2 higher price players, you can also do that and then find another value play to play alongside them. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced approach, that's definitely fine on tonight's slate as well. As I did mention with the injuries, there could be some other value potentially opening up throughout the day as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. So we're going to start off at the point guard position with Kyle Lowry. He's $6,500. Looking for 33 fantasy points out. He's averaging 30.5 so far on the season. Very good matchup against the Pacers tonight. There is no Jimmy Butler. Kyle Lowry's been playing big minutes, and he's been playing pretty well most of the season as well. So currently having projected for 35 points tonight. Definitely has some upside for more as well. At shooting guard, we're going right back to Klay Thompson tonight. Paid off really well last night. He's only $5,200. We're looking for 26 fantasy points out of him tonight. Currently having projected for 28, but definitely offers some upside for more, as we've seen as recently as yesterday. The only thing with him is just making sure that his minutes will not be limited tonight or that he sits out on the back-to-back. Then we move down to small forward with Cameron Johnson once again. $4,500, paid off in a big way the last time out. And his price tag really didn't move. So we're only looking for about 23 fantasy points out of him. He's averaging 27 so far on the season. Currently having projected for about 26, 27 tonight. Definitely has some upside for more, as we've seen as recently as the last game where he hit 7 3-pointers and paid off in a big, big way. Then we move down to power forward with Jalen McDaniels once again. He's $5,300, so a little bit heftier price tag on the FanDuel side. Looking for 26, 27 fantasy points out. He's averaging 26 so far in the season. Currently having projected for 27, 28 tonight on the FanDuel side. Should be in place of Gordon Hayward in that starting lineup and playing pretty big minutes tonight once again. And then last but not least at the center position, moving down to Joseph Nurkic. He's $7,600. Looking for 38 fantasy points out. He's averaging just under 37 so far on the season on the FanDuel side. Once again, the games where Damian Lillard doesn't play, he takes a big step up. Anthony Simons might not play tonight as well, so Nurkic is going to be a major part of their offense overall and going to look like a great play once again tonight. Currently have him projected for 40 points, and as long as he doesn't get in foul trouble or this game doesn't get out of hand, he's going to be a very good play at that center position once again tonight. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, I have $30,900 remaining. Just over $7,700 per player. So definitely some room and some opportunities to pay up for players if that's something you really want to do. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced approach, that's definitely fine on tonight's 12-game slate overall. Should be some other value opening up throughout the days. So there should be lots of different ways to approach the slate overall. But with that being said, these are my core 5 picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, November 4th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5 picks, whether it's somebody else that you think I missed on tonight's slate. Definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. Also, be sure to note whether it is for FanDuel or DraftKings, since the prices can vary quite a bit from site to site as well. And then last but not least, I'll try to list all the injury updates throughout the day, as well as many starting lineups as possible for tonight's games, so that you guys are best informed as possible. If there's any changes to the core throughout the day, I'll leave an update about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock. If there's anything else that changes after that time, I'll try to leave some updates there as well, or some just general helpful advice. So definitely be sure to check up on that throughout the day. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now it is NBA DFS and NFL DFS. And then with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who is yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I do the daily NBA DFS Core Pick videos Monday through Friday, so definitely be sure to check all those out. Also, be sure to check out the NFL DFS content, where I do the NFL DFS weekly core pick video going over my favorite players at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense. Just giving you guys a core for the week overall. That should be coming out later today. And then also the live streams for the Thursday night and Monday night football games, where I focus on the single game slate on DraftKings. I know there's some people that like to tune in too that play on FanDuel, so I try to talk about that too if there's time to do so. But definitely be sure to check those out, whether it's live or on replay. A couple of the ones I've been doing this week have just been a little bit earlier, typically about 45 minutes prior to game time otherwise. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.